Welcome Islanders, welcome to Island's Plate, where we are here with me, Treasure, and I do food reviews, food recipes, and booktube, and a few DIYs that I find that work out in life. Today, while I'm going to review this book, I'm baby wearing, so bear with me. Okay, so this book by Stephen King, The Fairy Tale. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically a fantasy, fairy tale, horror type of book. I wanted a book that I could read that was kind of more on the suspense, thriller type, because I'm a chicken and I don't like horror, and Stephen King is the king of horror, so I figured why don't I start with this, and I'm going to get into what I think and how I feel about this book. A brief overview of what's going on with this book. So you have a teenage boy named Charlie who is raised by his dad because his mother dies, and from there he goes on a journey of kind of being the adult in the relationship between him and his father. And after that, he meets this man named Mr. Bowditch, and Mr. Bowditch has the keys to a portal to another world. And Mr. Bowditch is an old elderly man whose body is failing him, and he has a dog, and he needs Charlie to help him out with his dog. And Charlie doesn't mind because he's kind of used to taking charge, or being the one to, I guess, assume responsibilities. And I think it started with probably his dad. But Mr. Bowditch eventually dies and gives Charlie the keys, and he goes on a whole fairy tale horror type journey. So that is the brief summary of what's going on, okay? We're about to get into my feelings. And then after we get into my feelings, we're going to get into spoilers. My feelings about the book. I was going to DNF this book because, again, I'm a chicken. I think that Stephen King gave you an amazing journey for people who like horror. For me, personally, I was like, okay, honey, like, what are we doing right now? Like, why are we going through all this crazy stuff, this whole journey in this hole of creepy, weird, just weird stuff? Like, what's the plot? What's the whole, what's the stakes? What's the big reveal of why we're going on this journey of just freak shit? You know, like, what's going on? And it dawns on me, like, oh, we're doing this to save Radar. And legit, in the middle of the book, girl, we were like, hold on. We were right here. Can you see that? We was right here in the book, and I'm like, yo, where's the plot? It's supposed to be a climax. We're supposed to be tumbling down right now. We in the middle of the book, girl. What's going on? And it dawned on me, oh no, Radar is the plot. Wrong. That's why I was about to DNF it, but I'm like, should you just see it through? Stephen King is the king of horror and suspense, and he's trying to build up to something. And the plot gets explained, or you get into it, the climax and the tumble, just a little further into the book. So if you're thinking about DNFing it, don't do it. It's going to make it worth it, doing all this creepy stuff. Now, the reason why, before you try to cuss me out, I have no problem with saving a dog. I have no problem with saving the dog. But Mr. Bowditch had already said he was old as I don't know what, you know, in his hundreds or whatever. And the dog has lived with Mr. Bowditch. And I'm just kind of like, why are we bringing this sick dog on this long, dreadful journey when this dog should be on the pain meds, enjoying his broth, and, you know, trying to have this peace? Like, what if you don't make it? You ain't never been in this world before, and you know, okay. But it's worth it. I'm happy the dog lived. I'm always the person, or normally when I'm watching a movie or reading a book, I always am thinking like, well, what about the dog? What about the dog? But in this situation, and I wasn't buying based off of what he was going through and the stakes. Like, we really about to potentially die and also put this poor puppy through all this stuff, and we still don't even know why we doing all this, you know? I mean, he knew why he was doing it. Okay, I was gonna DNF it because it was some weird freak stuff going on, and I'm happy that I didn't DNF it because it started to I guess build up just later on in the book, and it's a lot more believable or buyable I think I just made up a word on why we're going on this journey for Charlie. Also, he's a teenage boy, you know. Okay, spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the very end of the book. I'm trying to find the perfect way to say this. But when everybody was saying, because I'm a chicken, when everybody was saying to Charlie, don't go out at night, there's the blood soldiers, don't go out at night, or when he met the other version of Christopher Polly, the short dwarf torturing the cricket and talking about, I hope you can duel, it's just an insect. I was like, girl, I'm leaving, I'm going home. I'm getting on out of here, honey. I'm going home. Another part, I would have turned around and been like, okay, we done with all of this. Well, he couldn't say goodbye. The creepy part of when the leader of like the blood soldiers, so Charlie finally gets radar on the reverse aging device. I think they call it like a sundial. Yeah, it was sundial. And he reversed the dog's age, and the dog is now chipper and is not sick anymore and is able to keep up and everything. So okay, we saved the dog, so now we're gonna make it out. No, the other version of Christopher Polly done marked off the Mr. Bowditch's marks, so Charlie can't find his way out of the city that seems to be a moving maze. And Charlie's like, okay, I finally think I can barely make it out. And Charlie's able to get Radar out, but he's not able to get himself out, and he's trying to run to see if he can get himself out. And then one of the blood soldiers choked Charlie and is like, no, you have come here uninvited, and here you will stay. I would say, bitch, kill me now. Kill me now. Kill me now, because you're creepy. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Okay, second part where I was like, girl, what are we going through here, was when, I'm not gonna say all the details, but he gets caught. He wakes up in a cell with other prison mates, and one of the prison mates is going off in a tangent about waking Charlie up. It's like, don't wake him up, don't touch him, why even bother with him? And then he just goes on a whole like weird freaking tangent. I'm like, girl, what are we doing? You know, like everything else is already creepy as it is. Okay, whatever. I don't like the whole I think it was symbolism. The people who basically like are the protagonists of the imaginary world that Charlie goes into were the previous royalty family. One lost their sight, one lost their ability to speak, and the other one lost their ability to hear. Like, hear no evil, see no either, speak no evil. And I thought that was creepy in itself also, but then there were other siblings. I mean, you know, okay, it's a lot. I hope I gave you a good enough review, okay? I don't really have any much more to give. I gave you a brief summary of the book. I gave you my feelings about the book, and I gave you a little bit of spoilers. I am someone who doesn't really like creep factor. I like to stay in the fantasy world, but not scary fantasy. I think that this was good enough for me to start into. I don't think I'm going to venture anymore into horror. I'm happy that I went on this journey and stuck it through and didn't DNF it, because I was going to. But yeah, that's all I have for you. Hope it's intriguing enough. If you have read the book, tell me your thoughts and what you feel, what you think about the book. If you haven't read the book and you're thinking about reading the book, I spoiled a little bit by talking about events, but like, you can still read the book and still be like, you know, surprised. And there's still some wow factor, I believe, left in this book, because I'm not going to disclose the end. But there are some events and scenes that I talked about. Alright, there you go. There's my end. See you later.